Welcome to Hawk Talk. You've probably seen this show before in a locker room, in a coach's office, in a lot of different settings, but we've hopefully finally found a permanent home over at Consolidated in Dickinson, North Dakota. So we'd like to thank them for hosting us, and we'll get right into it with head football coach Pete Stanton. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, not everyone has probably kept up with us. We've talked each week at players, but can you give just a brief recap of how we've gotten to this 5-1 point here at the midway point in the season?
Yeah, we started our first game of the year, played out in Miles City, Montana, had a great crowd out there, played Western Montana, a very good team, and we lost in that game 29-13, and then we played 3 straight home games after that and defeated Valley City State and had a big win over Northwestern of Iowa, and then also defeated Presentation College, and then we actually were back on the road again and played Valley City State and defeated them for the second time, which was a conference game this time. And then we just this last week took a long road trip out of Waldorf, Iowa to Forest City, Iowa, and were able to win that game 49-13. And so we got our third conference win and got ourselves to 5-1.
Sure, we'll delve into that Waldorf game a little bit. Got off the bus, 10-hour, 12-hour, whatever it was, boom, pick 6 by Rob. Talk about the importance of getting off to a good start and the defense getting yet another touchdown.
Yeah, it was. We definitely got off to a good start. As you said, it's always tough to go play any game, let alone a game where you've been on the bus for 11 hours the day before. And it was a beautiful day in Forest City, and like you said, we got off to a good start. Rob made a good play on the interception and took it all the way back and got ourselves a lead right away.
After that, they kind of went through a little period of throwing everything, including the kitchen sink at you, it sounded like. Onside kicks, trickery. Talk about the difference on facing that versus a normal type of offensive attack.
Yeah, well, they had a good plan. Their plan was they kind of scrapped a little bit of what they had done offensively, and they weren't going to try to run the ball, and they just went to an empty backfield and, like you said, spread and pitch passes and double passes and reverse passes and things like that, and they did a good job of holding on to the ball. We were definitely out on the field too long defensively in the first half. We didn't play as well as we needed to. For the first quarter offensively, we probably didn't play as well as we needed to either, and even though we had that lead, they kind of kept a minimum. They did a good job of driving the ball against us defensively and actually took the lead at one time, and that kind of took us up to the middle of the second quarter.
Sure. On the offensive side of the ball, went ahead and made the quarterback switch. Again, take us through kind of what goes through your mind when you have two not equally talented, two equally competitive players that bring different assets to the offense. Kind of what goes through your mind when you're deciding who to send out there?
Well, we talked, because Kaler's been our 4-year starter, and we certainly we're going to still use him in this game, and we talked as a coaching staff going into the game that we're going to have Kaler play the first quarter and Hayden play the second quarter, regardless of how things were going. And Hayden came in and did a good job in the second quarter. Hit the touchdown pass to Austin Brown, did a good job of doing things. So we had decided at that point just to go with him the rest of the way. We thought about having Kaler come back in the fourth quarter, but just thought against it. Just kept Hayden in there, and we really handed the ball off a lot in the fourth quarter and really condensed our playbook in that fourth quarter.
Sure. Now we got the lead back there in the end of the second quarter, but Waldorf put together a drive where it looked like they were going to steal the lead heading into the locker room. And then Mr. Pick 6, I think we can officially call him, 99 yards to the house. Take us through what that play entailed and how important it was to solidify a lead.
And leading up to that, it was we were about ready to call a few timeouts, try to get the ball back at midfield. Then we got a couple 15-yard penalties and put them in position to get down on the goal line. And then what had happened with them is they didn't have any timeouts left, so they were feeling that they had to throw the ball. And Kane made a break. They tried to throw it to the backside. Kane made a great break on the ball, and not only a great break on the ball, but our guys did a great job blocking, and he barely stayed in bounds and got a 99-yard interception return. And it was obviously a momentum swing, a big play in the game. It was a 14-point swing where they have a chance to go up by 7. Instead, we're up by 14 there.
Start the second half. Karsten Mack this time was the one who took the load of the carries. It was only a 2-play drive, I believe, but just talk about the embarrassment of riches at the running back position right now, with Karsten asserting himself as someone you can rely on at the running back position.
Yeah, he does a really good job. He's a good back. He's a talented freshman back, and like you said, we have that luxury with 3 or 4 guys. We decided not to play Trey Boone. His still has an injury that we were kind of using him as an emergency only thing, and that gave Karsten his opportunity, along with Jake Hardy, who scored a touchdown, and Jed Fike. And so Karsten has great ability. We have confidence of putting him in the game at any time.
Now, any closing thoughts? One thing that I talked to Drew Johnson, who joined us last week. He said, when the defense scores the ball, the problem is the defense is back on the field. Mm-hmm. So, any closing thoughts on the Waldorf game?
Well, I think that happened a little bit. We scored 3 times defensively, and then they might have an 8 or 9 play drive, and then we score, and then they're back on the field. So if they get 5 more plays, then it's a lot of plays. I guess thoughts. I think offensively, we played very well at times. At times we still need to improve. Defensively, we got to tackle better. We were on the field far too many plays. We can't play 97 plays, but although with a few minutes left in the game, it's 49-13, so we could have worse problems. But we know, against those teams down the road, that we're going to have to do a good job of getting off the field. But first things first, we're happy to go to Waldorf on the road and a long trip and get a win and keep our conference record where it is.
Sure. We'll transition now into homecoming. Homecoming is obviously a special time with you and your coaching staff, so many alums on the roster. But this week in particular, a special group comes back to town to be recognized at the Hall of Fame induction. So kind of putting on your old hat of that track and field coach. Talk about the group going into the Hall of Fame this week.
Yeah, an incredible group of athletes going in, both individually, Trevor Berry and Ross Walker, who is also a football player, Derek Atkins and Aaron Clare. Aaron and Trevor and Derek were from the Bahamas, and Ross from Kildare. Sure. And all 4 of them were main cogs of many in the 2004 through 2006 national championship teams, and we were able to win those national championships in track. And then obviously all of them, including 2 of them were placers at the world level in track and field, not just the national level. Where they were world-class placers, and then with Aaron was also an Olympic medalist as well. So quite a group of guys, and not only with their accomplishments, but just the type of people that they are, and not only them, but all of those teams. 2004, 2005, 2006, we set conference records for points scored. We broke 15 or 16 school records, broke national records, and they were just a great group of men who not only at the time were great people, but now with what they've done with their careers and things like that, I'm really proud to be associated with those guys.
You can ride a couple stellar athletes like that to a conference championship, but I'm assuming it takes the entire team to capture national championships. So is there lessons that can translate from the track to the football team that you're going to share with your guys about that special group?
Well, they were just you have to have talent, and they were a very talented group. But I think the one thing that I guess everybody could probably learn from it is their hard work and perseverance. They worked hard. Some people said, oh, they're really talented and they did well. No, they worked hard to where they get there. They were very dedicated. They were very disciplined. And I think the biggest thing is they performed. I think that's maybe the biggest lesson that they win, is they didn't put a lot of pressure on themselves. A lot of the guys from those teams, and we didn't put a lot of pressure on them. We just did our best. We prepared the best we could. We did things well as students, and they did all those things right on and off the field, and they performed and didn't put a lot of pressure on themselves, and that's one of the reasons why they were really successful, in addition to the talent that they had.
Sure. Now transitioning to the football game itself, Jamestown comes to town. New leadership at Jamestown, new head coach. What can fans expect from the Jimmies?
Well, they're a totally different team than what they did last year. They're a lot of 2-back type of things. Several of their coaches came from NDSU, and they're running some of those same type of looks. Probably more 2-back. For some people, it's going to look maybe like the old Dickinson State offense. Sure. A little bit. You're going to see a lot of 2-back, a lot of play action pass. They've played hard. The last couple times that they've played, they haven't. It's been tough on presentation. End up beating them. They had a little bit of hiccup there, but they were toe to toe with Valley City. They're capable of scoring a lot of points. They're a much improved team, and it'll be an exciting homecoming game.
All right, Coach. Friday night, we got the athletic banquet. That's over at the Astoria, I believe. We'll actually have a special guest that'll be able to give us all the details joining us later. Then Saturday, 1 o'clock kickoff with Jamestown. Is that correct?
Yes, 1 o'clock kickoff at Jamestown.
All right. Best of luck, Coach. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk. We're joined now by someone who's got a pretty busy week and has had a busy time leading up to homecoming. Want to go ahead and introduce yourself and your role with the university?
I'm Alicia Erickson, the coordinator of Alumni Relations and Events. I'm a DSU alum, so I truly bleed blue and gray, like I believe you do as well, Nate.
Definitely, definitely. And with that role, pretty big week with homecoming coming up. We've arrived, so I know a lot of your work has gone into making this week a reality. But what different roles have you had at your alma mater since you've graduated?
Oh wow. I started out as an enrollment coach where I would travel around the state of Montana recruiting prospective students. In the meantime, while I was doing that, I was also interim director whenever we would have a director leave. Did that for 11 years, and then I left for a period of time, and now I'm happy to be back working with alumni relations, being able to reconnect with some of our alumni and some of our good friends that have been loyal here in the community of Dickinson as well as around the state of North Dakota.
Sure. Now explain the importance of an event like homecoming for a small campus like Dickinson State University.
Homecoming is huge. Homecoming is just a great gathering point for people to come back. It's that one time on the calendar that they can all plan a vacation to come back to Dickinson, to meet up with old friends, to be able to see some of their friends receive an award, to get inducted, or even just to catch the volleyball games, the football games, and just to be able to reconnect with old professors.
Now at the same time, obviously it's big for the alumni, but students do a great job of the student homecoming committee, I should say, making things for students as well. So talk about kind of the balance between making this a weekend exciting for alumni, but a reason for students to get excited as well.
Homecoming truly is a time for all students to kind of feel that love for their alma mater. It started on Sunday with a chili feed, and it was a chili cook-off. It was open to all the clubs and organizations on campus. It was also open to the community to come out and showcase their cooking skills. So the chili feed was on Sunday. They're doing different things, like today there's a blood drive going on. They have the Casey Allen concert on Friday night, the homecoming parade. They really pack it full of events. So there's something for everyone, no matter what your interest is.
Now also, not just alums, not just current students, but even the community of Dickinson can enjoy a lot of the different events on the schedule. So can you run us through a couple of those events that really target both current students, former students, and the community?
Friday night at 8 o'clock is Casey Allen. Casey Allen is an artist that is known for his country music. He's trying to make it big in Nashville, and he kind of has some roots to Dickinson. And so he usually will come and play in this area a couple times a year. And so he will be performing in Dorothy Stickney Auditorium. Tickets are available for the community members for $35. You can get those tickets at the event as well as at the DSU Student Center information desk.
Okay.
There's also the homecoming parade. Everyone looks forward to the parade each and every year. It's just a great way to kind of show the spirit and kind of get into the game before the Blue Hawk football team takes the field at 1 o'clock that day. But the parade will be starting at 10 o'clock. You can feel free to go on to the Dickinson State website at dickinsonstate.edu. Click on homecoming to get all the details. After the homecoming parade, we invite everyone to come to the tailgate. It's a family-oriented affair. So come grab a bite to eat starting at 11 o'clock.
Sure.
And then after that, we encourage everyone to come to the game.
Now volleyball also in action Friday afternoon, is that correct? Two matches?
Yes, definitely go check out the volleyball team. The team has had a season of ups and downs, but there's nothing like the homecoming game and being able to see their family in the stands, as well as the more people we can get there, the energy that kind of goes to the team. So definitely go and check them out on Friday.
There's also a chance during the tailgate, I believe they're having a barbecue roast, accepting donations there. So there's a chance to get some pretty special food. I believe the hog is coming right from a farm in Montana. So a chance to get a nice meal while participating in the tailgate if you want to check that out. Now, I have a question for you that might be tough to answer. What is your favorite homecoming event?
Oh, I would have to say the football game, just because at the football game, it's the one chance where you get to walk around and see all the various alumni. You get to see a lot of professors that have retired. You also get a chance to see some of the current professors. You get to see community members. The best is getting to see those little kids that are all excited to become maybe a future Blue Hawk one day. But then during halftime, being able to see those honorees. So if you weren't able to attend the alumni fellows and honorees banquet on Thursday night, or to attend the Athletic Hall of Fame banquet on Friday night, you can see them being honored during halftime. That's also when the homecoming king and queen are named.
Now, as a new alum, just graduating in May of 2016, I've got to ask, maybe for personal reasons, who is in charge of selecting the alums that are nominated at the various Thursday Night Fellows as well as the Athletic Hall of Fame?
It's a lot of hard work trying to figure out. We have about 14,000 alumni that have graduated from Dickinson State. And so we have our alumni committee as well as our DSU Heritage Foundation Board of Directors. Anyone can submit a recommendation or a nomination, and then we kind of go through the process of figuring out, okay, who should these honorees be this year? When it comes to the fellows, we work with the departments. Each of the departments on campus receives a list every year in May, and then they're given a couple weeks to go ahead and narrow it down to one individual. They forward that individual to our alumni relations, and then we work in getting in contact with that individual. When it comes to the honorees, the DSU Heritage Foundation, they go ahead and kind of select some individuals who have really gone above and beyond, not only on the giving side, but as well as just remaining loyal, keeping in contact with their alma mater.
Sure. Now, obviously, this you talked about, it goes back as far as May, I'm sure even earlier, for making some of these arrangements for homecoming. So there's got to be a couple other events that are on your docket currently. So would you like to give folks an idea of what they can expect coming from your office that they should mark their calendars for?
Definitely. Right after homecoming, the following weekend on October 22nd, we'll be honoring the 1991 football team. Those individuals, that team is the one that was able to go to semifinals. It's the team that has went the furthest for the NAIA for the Blue Hawks. So we'll be honoring them on Saturday, October 22nd. We'll also be having a donor recognition brunch that day. So we'll be able to match up anyone that has given or formed a new scholarship at DSU, a chance to meet the recipient of that scholarship at that brunch. Then coming up on Saturday, November 12th is Cowboys and Candlelight. It's a huge fundraiser for our DSU rodeo team. And then last but not least, to end out the year on Saturday, December 10th, we have Yule Time, and this is the 20th annual Yule Time celebration. Each year we choose a different country, and this year we're happy to celebrate the United States of America. So definitely a full load of events to round out 2016.
Sure, I can attest to you being a pretty busy lady, but I think the calendar speaks for itself. I know you take great joy in homecoming as much as you bleed blue and gray, so I hope you're able to enjoy all the festivities on the docket this week. But thank you for joining us in this busy week to let the folks know what they can count on.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk. We're joined by two different athletes now in the Blue Feather feature here. And guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Seth Evanuk from Belfield, North Dakota. I'm a junior.
I'm Tessa Cyan. I'm a senior from Pompey's Pillar, Montana.
All right, guys, to kind of dust off some nerves here in the camera studio, we want to get you guys a little uncomfortable, some quick hitters to get to know more about you as well as your teammates. So, Seth, we'll start with you. What's your favorite class?
This semester, my favorite class is probably entrepreneurship, which is also my minor as of now, so it's pretty interesting. So,
Yourself?
My favorite class right now is persuasion because I get to learn how to argue things.
Perfect. Now, who is the best dressed and worst dressed on your particular team?
oh man.
Volleyball-wise, I would say probably Brenna might be the best dressed on the team, and I'm probably the worst dressed on the team.
I would say best dressed on the football team is Jamion Lindsay from, he's a wide receiver, and worst dressed, I have no idea. I think some of these guys have pretty crazy style of outfits.
I think there's some candidates that would.
I mean, there's more than one, for sure.
Now, what teammate of yours, volleyball, football, would do better in the other sport? Not better, but the best in the other sport.
I think Peyton would probably be the best football player.
I would have to say tight end Brian Cronley. He's a pretty good basketball player. Seen him shoot some hoops in intramurals this last year, so I'm definitely Brian at basketball.
Now, who's the worst singer on the team? I know lots of long road trips with DSU athletics. You've heard someone belt something out that you thought, what was that? Who's the worst singer?
I would probably say myself. I've heard people tell me to quit singing countless times. So, but
Yeah, I would say that I might be up there in probably one of the best performers, worst singers, but I think Maggie Rouser is also a very awful singer.
All right, now, obviously you guys spend a lot of time on a college campus. Pretty interesting time with the presidential election. We're not going to get into which of those candidates we're going to throw our support behind, but what DSU professor do you wish was running for president that you could vote for?
I can't think.
I would probably say Dr. Grabowski would be a presidential person that I would be able to not necessarily get behind, but listen to.
Sure.
I'd like to see my business teacher, Rolf Butz, get up there and lead this nation. He's a German native, but I think he can run the United States pretty well.
All right, guys, what are your career aspirations?
Seth?
I just want to graduate, play football one more year, graduate, and hopefully just get a good job somewhere around this area, stay in the area of Dickinson. I love this community. I love Western North Dakota. So, I mean, that's really all I have planned.
I would like to graduate college here in the spring and then possibly work at the winery a little bit more at Fluffy Fields and see where that could take me.
Now, what's your favorite DSU memory? Both of you guys have been here a while now. What's your favorite memory?
Last year, winning the conference championship was pretty cool for football. That was a great memory, and I'll always keep that close and dear to my heart, and it was a great time just celebrating with all the teammates, coaches, family. There's a lot of support from the community. It was a great week.
Yeah. I would probably say my favorite memory was when the student section stormed the court after our win. That was pretty huge, and then all of our home games, like Seth said, we just have so much support, so it's so great to play in the community, and you get in a gym and you talk to other girls, the other team after the game, and they're like, holy cow, it was just so loud. So I just live for every single home game that we have.
Now, who has been your biggest role model that kind of helped you get to where you're at today?
Go ahead.
I would probably say my mom is my biggest role model. She's taught me the most. She tries to teach me to stay calm and handle situations the best way possible, so she's definitely my role model.
Yeah, I would definitely say both my parents and my brother and my sister. We're a very close family, and I was the youngest of the bunch, and they taught me everything I know, so I'd like to thank them for who I am the day they made me who I am. So,
sure. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a lot of younger students out there, maybe junior college like yourself, people who don't know if Dickinson is the right place for them. So what would you tell a prospective student thinking about coming to DSU?
If you want to feel a part of something bigger than yourself and automatically connect with people that you wouldn't have thought that you would have connected with come to Dickinson State, because there's, no matter what you're in, football, basketball, baseball, any sporting event, or any group, if you're not even into sports, you can find something to do and you'll find friends that you'll make great bonds with.
I definitely agree with what Seth says. When we have recruits come in, or when there's a freshman fair or something, or high schoolers are here, I definitely tell them that come to DSU if you want to make a difference. It's a smaller community. We're definitely closer. Team-wise, all of the teams support each other. All the clubs support each other. We're really just tight-knit community, and the home games are awesome.
All right, guys. Well, if you, upon graduation, need something to do, I think we could hire you on the recruiting staff. That was a nice pitch there. Now let's kind of take a look at different things about you guys. Is more on a more personal note. Both of you suffered injuries this year. What did that help you realize about the sport you play, kind of as you approach the end of your careers?
Definitely not take anything for granted. I came in second day of practice and was hurt and out indefinitely. Didn't know when I was going to be able to come back. Had to wait for a doctor to clear me, but I got cleared and everything is good to go now. But it really just showed that how much I loved being around all my teammates and all my coaches, and how it was just a great atmosphere to be around. And I'm never going to take it for granted like I didn't before, but it's definitely something I cherish now.
Sure.
Injuries will definitely change your perspective on sports. If you've ever seen me play, I get pretty intense. I'm pretty passionate about what I do, give it 100%. Having an injury, having to sit out, I didn't sit out as long as Seth, but not knowing if I was going to be able to finish out my senior season was something that really hits home with you. So if anything, it just intensified my passion. I've only got a couple weeks left, so just to go into every practice and love it, even though you hate it, and play every game and just give it everything you possibly can.
All right, now, both of you guys have some home contests coming up. Talk about, you touched on how exciting it is to play in front of that home crowd, but give the folks a reason to come out and support you guys over the next couple of weeks.
It's homecoming this week, so it's a big week, and we got the Jimmies coming to town from Jamestown for our homecoming game, and it's always a good rivalry. We know we're going to get their best shot, and it's going to be a great atmosphere on Saturday, and tonight as well for the girls volleyball game, and Friday they have other games too, so it's going to be a great week for the Hawks.
Come out and support us tonight. We play presentation at 6 o'clock. It's Military Appreciation Night. Wear some camo, show the men and women they give up their lives and everything that they possibly could have so we can do what we love. Come out and support them. Home games are great. Come, bring your voices, bring signs, bring whatever you want to do. It's your opportunity to get rowdy as well as ours. So we've got our game tonight, got our game on Friday. Hawks are up.
2 games on Friday.
2 games on Friday.
What are the times on those?
We play Western Montana at 11 and Grace College at 3, I believe.
All right, just for clarification's sake, tonight is Tuesday, so if you're catching this later in the week, unfortunately you might have missed out on that. Check out how we did on dsubluehawks.com. But thank you guys for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and good luck to your teams the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining us this week on Hawk Talk. Be sure to check out all things Dickinson State related on dickinsonstate.edu, athletics, dsubluehawks.com, and join us next week as we continue to tell you everything you need to know about Dickinson State University.